clip it.
All right, Thoroughbreds. Welcome back to another episode of Penalty Broncos. We are the best Broncos podcast that we listen to. We're here to give you the best professional amateur advice on the Broncos NRL and NRLW teams and just life in general, really. Follow us for more hot tips. I'm coming to you from a Bear bandwagon bar, and we have Ringer out west, and we have Langers up north. I believe you're in the homeland, Langers. There, you're back at the nest, mate.
Back in the nest, mate. I've been tiki touring around for far too long. The Minister for War and Finances pulled me back home. So, no, it's good. It's good to be home for a couple of weeks and not have to live out of a bag. So, it's good. It's good to be back.
Yeah, good shit. What about you, Ringer, mate? How's your mustering going? You all done yet or what?
Yeah, mate, we've knocked her over. Great success, really, considering no one got extremely injured and all the cows went on the truck. So that's a great, it's a successful muster. We've still got a few contractors here doing a bit of work around, mate. But no, it's good to, it's nearly Melbourne Cup time, and Melbourne Cup time means slow down season. So, it's just starting to work into that sort of crispy period. It was 43 here today. So, just really, giving you that summer's coming sort of a vibe. So
the devil's
yeah, it was on. So no, mate, been very good. How about you, Britto? How you been travelling, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Flat out, actually, at work there. So, but, we're getting there. Things are moving along slowly as well for the big move at the end of the year. Ticking off a few boxes here and there.
I'm busy.
Tell you what, mate, fucking... I know why we used to remove each other's houses back in the day when we were young, because removalists will charge you a liver. Holy. But anyway, we'll move on from that. So this week we've got the men's review. Pretty excited for it. Like running through the stats and whatever, it's pretty hard to get excited really. But
no, it's a nerd out and we love it.
So it'll be a kind of brief, I guess, season review for this year. Next year we might be able to swing it with the ball and chains, that we might need to catch up and be in person for a proper season review. But we'll see how we go.
We'd hate every minute of it too, so we're just putting that out there.
Look, it's fucking work.
It's work, bro.
It's work. Someone's got to do it.
You wouldn't understand. It's
work. That's it. And if the tax man hears, it is all above board.
Yeah,
definitely work. 100% work trip.
Get that ABN singing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll kick into it. I guess we won't muck around. What we'll do first, we'll talk about the thoroughbreds, so the community in general and how they went over the season. And to be honest, they were better than the team at showing up at least.
Yeah.
So currently, from the numbers that I can find, the membership tally is at 53,672. That we lead the league there. It could be closer to 60,000 by now, but that's yet to be released. When it comes to turning up, like I said, so we had 23 events held at Suncorp Stadium, and that obviously includes Magic Round, for a total of 837,082 people came through the gates at Suncorp. League best, just absolutely demolished it.
Yeah.
Now,
Excellent.
Now, a lot of people are going, but guys, Magic Round, what are you talking about? Those numbers are skewed. It's like, righto, well, I went through and I took those numbers out. And we still lead the league by 330,961.
Wow.
That's the gap back to the next best. So,
huge.
Mate, massive effort by the thoroughbreds. Average crowd obviously was the highest, 36,395 as well, league best, and the highest attendances. So what have I got there? The highest attendance. So we topped 7 out of the top 10 attendances for the year.
It's incredible.
We'll take 3 of them out because of Magic Round crowds, but we still hold the highest regular season number of 50,049. That was a Broncos v Dolphins one. The second highest with 46,224. That was another Broncos v Dolphins. And we also hold the third highest with 45,793, which was the Broncos v Cowboys. So not only does the Broncos and the Thoroughbreds get rugby league, Queensland get rugby league as well.
Yeah, excellent to see.
It's
what are your thoughts, Ringer?
Yeah, Britto, just a bit of quick maths there, mate. Average ticket price I just seen on a thread said it's about $45 for a game. Average ticket price put over that many people going through comes out to about 37,600,000 in ticket sales for rugby league. So,
wow.
Queenslanders are putting their hard earned behind, the game. So when they say, it's stupid to put, like, why would we put a grand final in Brisbane because we can only sell 52,000 tickets? Make them dearer. Who gives a shit? We'll pack that stadium. Like Queenslanders get rugby league, mate. So we're pumping the money into the game. So
yeah,
it's about time. Let's hope the Bronx repay everyone for that too next year. So a little bit of investment's gone into you boys. Come on, let's go and get into the finals, eh?
At the moment, we look like Scrooge McDuck, just fucking hovering all the money.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Langers?
Yeah, good stats. Like, it's good numbers. Obviously,
Huge.
Queensland has always been, heavy NRL. So it's good to see that, the stats are still there. The numbers are still there despite a pretty lackluster season. There was still good, solid, turnouts towards the end of the season on our little downward slide. So, no, it's always positive to see those sort of numbers, and hopefully we can sort of replicate that next year with hopefully a better performance.
You can also see why some teams give up their home games to come and play at Suncorp. Hey, you can see why Manly did it for so many years with them double headers and whatnot. So,
it must fill their coffers, eh? Like when they put a header on, they get like a minimum of 36,000 people.
Yeah.
Like it must top their clubs up so much when they're giving up a home game, but it probably sets up their whole season really.
Yeah. Dolphins. Look at the Cowboys. Like their stadium's 25,000. So, they would never be able to get those sort of crowds if they wanted to. So, to get three of the top, like the top three,
it's ridiculous.
Serious
so
coin
good.
roll in there, no?
Oh.
Plus the $89 beers you got to spend.
Yeah. Imagine owning a pub on Caxton Street. How terrible.
Spewing,
Yeah. All right. We'll move into a bit of a brief over the team, sort of how they perform. We broke the year up into thirds, so rounds 1 to 9, 10 to 18, and 19 to 27. So after at round 9, we were 7th with 5 wins, 4 losses. Our for and against was plus 42. We carry in through 10 to 18. We were at 11th. We had 7 wins, 9 losses, and our for and against was still positive on a plus 13. So we were losing them, but they were close, sort of thing. And then through rounds 19 to 27, we obviously know where we ended up there, 12th with 10 wins, 14 losses, and a for and against of negative 70.
Yeah.
And that really, that last third of the season is really where the damage got done. Sort of fell apart there. So I'll throw it over to you, Ringer, man. I'll get your thoughts on those stats.
Yeah, mate. I really don't think anyone was really happy with the start, especially coming out of the season. We just come from being a bee's dick away from winning a comp, and it took Nathan Cleary possibly putting on the best grand final performance ever to win that comp for him. But at 5-4. Was everyone just thinking, it's a little bit of a hangover, the boys will come good, they're just going to work their way into the 8, get around Origin period and then make a surge for home? Like at this time, I think that's what we were thinking. But like you said, after Origin period, I think that's when we all seen that either it was fatigue, whatever it was, like the such highs of last year, the hangover from that really set in, because there was a few games there where we should have absolutely dominated, and we got pumped, or we just didn't show up, and um, we knew we were in trouble early on in that last third of the period. Like we always struggle around Origin time. That's just the nature of the beast. It's been ever since the Broncos have been in the comp. Like you're going to lose some games in that period just because you haven't got any players back. So the fact that once we got everything back together and we decided to make a charge at the end of the season, you could see that the want and the discipline and whatnot wasn't there. Like you could see the warning signs from a mile away. And then, yeah, it's always a bad thing when you're like, oh, we need to win 2 out of the last 5 or 3 out of the last 5 to get to the finals. And the next thing it comes to, we got to win all 3 and all that stuff. Like, you're on a slide when that's happened. So, you know, it a disappointing season, no doubt, but no doubt we'll get into some stats later on that might reflect a little bit of what happened to the boys and in that. But yeah, definitely interested to see what everyone else thinks.
What do you reckon, Langers? Thoughts?
To start off the season as premiership favourites on the bookies, like they were, tipping that, we were first and, Panthers second, Storm third sort of thing, Roosters after that. So to go from that to, up to round 9 and you're 5-4, probably a little bit of panic starting to sort of sink in, sort of like, probably should be doing a little bit better than this, but, there was excuses getting flown around, so not too bad. Then 10 through to 18, 7 to 9, sort of, that's a pretty big sort of starting to slide there, but and then the last third of it, obviously no good, but that for and against, so negative 70, the last 2 games that the Broncos played, they versed the Dolphins and they versed the Storm. Dolphins put on 40-6, and then the Storm turned around and put on 50-12.
Yep.
So in the last 2 games, they conceded 90 points in 2 games, and I think that was where our hopes sort of laid before then. It was always going to be a numbers game to reach the top 8, and our for and against was a lot better than that sort of group of teams that we were competing against. So
exactly,
there was that little bit of relief there, like, oh well, if we end up on the same points, we'll get them for our difference, sort of thing. And then obviously that didn't pan out, and then just got pumped the last 2 games.
Yeah.
It was it's obviously a disappointing thing. Injuries obviously come into it. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But to go from premiership favourites to an absolute slide like that, probably one of the more disappointing teams this season. Which is it's sad to say. Obviously, we're favourites. We want to do literally the opposite of this. We want to be like they're the best. Let's do the grand final review sort of thing, not the season review. So unfortunately, it's not to be, but. It's one of those things. We're getting some, new blood coming into the club, so we'll see what happens. And the teams for next year, mate, still a top 8 team. I think.
Yeah.
They can put it together, and we'll be sweet. So hopefully this is an anomaly, and hate to be sort of like the last season of Walters sort of thing, but you'd imagine that if Madge comes through next year and Broncos make the 8, then. I doubt Kevy will ever get a look in as coach ever again, sort of thing. So, a bit disappointing for a season for, a legend of the game and of the Broncos like what Kevy is. But, that's business, eh? So, hopefully bigger and better.
Yeah, that's it. I'll be a little bit of a hindsight hero here. Round 1 in Vegas didn't thrill me at all.
Exactly.
I was really concerned, and I put it down to, hey, maybe a bit of jet lag, maybe they're not used to Vegas, maybe it's a bit interruptive, sure. But now that you look back at it, you're like, well, did we really do the best preseason? And then, they came in, they're like, righto, we've got the talent though, we could probably still get away with this. And then injuries hit, Origin hit, all that, and then by the end of it, everyone's just like, this is fucked. Sort of thing. So that's kind of what it looks like. But I wasn't convinced after round 1, and
you're so right. That first game was really telling, wasn't it? When, like you said, with hindsight, when you look at that first game against the Roosters, you go, like looking at where we ended up, you go, oh fuck, like maybe we were just off the mark from the get go,
Yeah. looking where we finished, looking where the Roosters finished, even despite their injuries,
Yeah.
it was that game. Yeah, that was it. So
Yeah.
a little bit unfortunate there, but anyway. So we'll move on to like the stats, I guess, the league stats, and we'll say the team standings, and then I'll just
Yep.
reflect on a couple of individual stats for the players and whatnot as we go through it. I can tell you I've done the stats for the NRLW, and we'll stick with the habit of doing the worst first, and then so we can go to the easy one next week. rip the Band-Aid off first, and then have our ice cream. But it's not for pretty. So what I'll do is I'll read out four. We'll have a discussion, and I'll move on, sort of thing. So the first four off the bat are points, tries, goals, and field goals. When it comes to points, we were sitting 10th overall. And just to give you a bit of so 10th overall, we had 537 points. Reese and Adam scored 92 and 90, and they were 17th and 19th in the individual stats. And they only played 14 and 13 games.
Yeah.
So we really, so a lot of points scored by two individuals that didn't play much. If they had been on the park more, maybe we did have the talent to get to where we wanted to go.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Tries, we sat 10th again on 92. Mariner ended up 8th overall with 17, behind Camprera, who was on, I think Camprera topped it, didn't he, with a phenomenal amount.
Yeah, 26 or something stupid.
Yeah.
24.
So goals, we were 8th with 84 goals, and that's goals completed. So Renault came in 12th in the individual with 43 of those. And then the field goals, we were 9th, but I'm pretty sure we were there just because of alphabetical order.
Yeah. Yeah. A few were on one.
So that's the only reason why we were that high. But most was 4 by the Cowboys and the Raiders. And of course, the two teams that always seem to win the fucking tight ones were up there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What are your thoughts on those initial stats there? We'll throw Langers first, mate.
Yeah, so you got points, tries, goals, field goals, 10th, 8th, 9th. Like just heavy middle of the pack. Nothing, exciting. Just, regular run. But, that little side stat of Reese and Reynolds, 92 and 90, and they only played 14 and 13 games. Like,
yeah.
As a Broncos supporter, you got to say, like, if they had played all games, she would have been a vastly, vastly different story, you'd think.
Yeah. We make the 8. I'll say that. Like, but how we go, I don't know, but we make the 8.
Well, that's it. You put them two playing every game. They're gelling together. They're, creating those sort of plays. Old Big Payne, he doesn't get injured. Oh, mate, we could go on for hours here, right? You like to think with that, then that's a top 14, But that's not how it works, unfortunately.
What do you reckon, Ringer?
Yeah, mate, I'm going along the same lines there. Like, it's great for us being a Broncos podcast because we can sit here and one-eyed make as many excuses as we want. So I am proudly going to do that for us.
Absolutely.
So 13th and 14th, like you said, Walsh and Renault played 13 and 14 games. I'd like to see any team that have their starting fullback and starting half miss that many games and do well for a start. Like, I think we've probably been harsh on them, but just because we love them. But I mean, I think the competition's probably been harsh on them also with where they finished, considering, like, if you pull, look what happened to Parramatta this year because Moses missed so many games. Like, Gutho was still there. So anyway, 13 points for 90 and 14 for 92. They play 10 extra games each. It's probably another 60 points each just in those two players. So, and that's at the low end. So, that sort of bump those numbers up. That's rookie numbers sort of shit, so I'll go with that, mate. Any team that doesn't have a half and a fullback is definitely going to struggle. And when you put those two stats up, well, obviously we're going to struggle.
Yep. Yeah, and before any Storm players come at us, we didn't have a super sub in Wishart to come in for a injured 5'8"
Yeah.
either. So
Yeah, exactly right.
Wow.
jog on with that one.
That boy's played himself up a couple $100,000 this year, hasn't he? Holy
Mate,
fuck.
he'd be on a few radars, that's for sure. So, all right, next line we've got possession, set completion, supports, and line engagement. Possession, 17th, sitting at 47%. Pretty disgusting. Set completion, 17th at 76%. Supports, we were up on 14th, 1,075. Now, the highest Bronco in the individual stats was Kobe Hetherington.
Boy.
Go, Cove.
My boy getting out there with 92 supports.
Thank fuck Madge said you're not going anywhere because, wow.
Yeah, that's it. And then line engagement, so 13th with 463. Renault he had 105 and came in 21st out of the league. Only played 13 games and he came in 21st. First Bronco,
So he essentially done a quarter of our line engagement.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah,
That's incredible.
correct. So when he was on the field, and we seen that when he came back against the Knights. It was a totally different team. The Knights had no idea what was going on. He was coming in, throwing that little fake ball out the side. He was doing all sorts of terrible things to him. I don't know much more to say about that. And you guys got anything?
Yeah, mate, the only thing I can say about those stats is that there's a lot of tinks in there. So, that's never good at the end of a season with only 17 teams if you've got a lot of tinks in your category. So we'll keep that one we'll try and put that in the past for next year, eh?
Yeah. Want a few more erds going on. Even What do you reckon, Langers? You got anything on that stat, isn't it?
I honestly reckon I'm just going to go through these stats and just say that this is where the Broncos went wrong, sort of thing. So possession, 17th at 47%. You got to think that if Reynolds was there, they would have had more possession. Probably would have won more games. Probably would have made the top 8.
Yeah.
But we didn't, so we didn't.
Yeah.
Set completion, 76%, under the 80, under the magical 80 number. But that's
I'll
where
put
we
my
win
hand up there.
games.
Thank you, boys.
We can
We completed over 84 times and we got pumped by 40, so thanks.
But no, 17th, 17th, 14th for supports and 13th for line engagement. Not good enough, eh? At the end of the day, it ain't good enough. So
that's it. All right. We'll move on to the next line. We got line breaks, post-contact meters, tackle breaks, and decoy runs. We got 11th there with the line breaks with 113. Your boy Mariner, he came first for the team, but he 20th for the league. He had 17. Post-contact meters. Now this is where Carrigan starts getting pretty heavy in the stats. You can see why. As much as I don't like him, you can see why he's the number 8 for the Aussies on the weekend. So we were 17th.
Not that you don't like him at prop.
Yeah.
Just to clear that up.
Yeah.
I don't like him out there where he can get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
So 17th is we ended up with post-contact. We had 12,602. Now, Carrigan got 10th. In an individual. So he was the highest Bronco. He was top 10 for the league. He got 1,413, which is 11% of our total. And next was Jensen, which is 9.4%. Is what he ended up.
Exactly.
So, we lost Flagler, but we had a workhorse in Jensen. He did step up, I reckon, this year. So I'd like to just, congratulate Jensen on a solid season there. Tackle breaks, we were 10th. So, not too shabby.
Still, that's pretty incredible, isn't it? Yeah. When you considering every other stent to be 10th in tackle breaks, it's pretty amazing. When we didn't have possession, we didn't have the ball, and we didn't make any post-contact meters. To be able to break tackles in the top, 10, pretty amazing.
That's it. Cobbo, he had 115, and he got 10th. Overall with the tackle breaks. He was 14% of our total. He was joined by Mariner, Haas, and Stags in the top 50, and they combined for 27% of our total. Haas got into his work. Stags got into his work at the end of the season. Pumped a few numbers there, which were good. Decoy runs 16th, 964. Not really too much else you can say there with the decoy runs. We just weren't supporting one another basically and
Yeah, I
throwing
think
that
that
shape.
sort of that I think
Yeah,
that comes down to a bit of a culture issue, with the
I
club.
think so too.
Not supporting your mate. I think that's I think that stat has got a little bit more underlying sort of realization there. To be honest,
And like
16th with 964.
Exactly.
Yeah, not good enough, eh?
and
And
thoroughbreds, we
I
know
think
that.
that. Sorry,
Sorry, you go.
no, go, Britto. Go.
we we know like decoy runs you support your mate. Not we know there's support play, but decoy run you're taking a bit of pressure. You're making the defense think so that
Mm,
your mate who is getting the ball doesn't get absolutely smashed.
Yeah,
It's nothing
exactly.
worse than when you're watching on the couch like me, a big potato, and you see some poor bloke just going one out.
One out,
You're like,
getting
what are you doing? Like
yeah,
this just
into the
this
teeth.
yeah, this
yeah.
is a training run for the defense at this point.
That's it. It's
So
even more
And I think
embarrassing when
too.
like that one bloke's got the ball in
Yeah,
two hands. Like, what's your plan here, bro? Like, what are you going to do?
yeah,
No
yeah.
one's with you.
Run it in two hands, but you've
Yeah,
got
yeah.
no support
Keep
whatsoever.
your options open.
throw that haymaker.
Yeah,
But like I think a stat that we went to a lot of times on this podcast, lot of this year, is that a lot of the times our second rowers made 4 and 5 runs each per game.
Yep.
You look at post contact meters for a lot of other top teams. You've got Angus Crichton, Eli Katoa, Satili Tupanua, Liam Martin. Like roll them off your tongue, right?
yeah,
They're getting one on one with their opposition halves, and that's where they're getting their post contacts. They're building up that sort of run meters. We seem to have a plan where we do not use our second rowers at all. And
yeah,
love Kevy, whatever. But it was quite obvious every time we'd sit down and go through the stats where our second rowers wouldn't have double digit runs. And every top team in the comp, their second rowers were taking so much of the pressure off the middles. That's why Paddy was so high, Corey Jensen was so high. We didn't have Payne for more than half the season. Like, I think that's a telling stat there that we did not use our second rowers, which is Jordan Ricky and Brendan Pecura, two big fucking
yeah.
young
Beast.
throbbers
Yeah,
that we didn't get them one on one with halves. And going back to what Langer said, is it because we didn't have our half and our fullback for most of the year? Like, you know, threatening on the edges and tipping on to our second rowers. I don't know. I think that post contact meter one is a real telling stat when we come to last in the comp with players like Carrigan Haas, Xavier Wilson, Marty Tapau, bloody Corey Jensen,
yeah,
Ricky and Pecura, and we come last. So
yeah.
yeah, so I think that's something next year. If our second rowers don't work, well, there's something wrong.
Yeah, 100%. And by the sounds of it, Madge is going to make it a fair
Whew.
competition. If he wants Kobe being in the starting, could be
But
interesting.
he had great Ben Teo, which is going to be his assistant, was one of the best second rowers in the comp
Yep.
when he played under Madge at South. Like
Yeah.
lots of involvement. So you know, between them two, you'd hope that someone like Brendan Pecura, that is still only a kid, like he is still only very young, but obviously extremely talented. Hopefully, they can mentor him into something phenomenal.
Mate, I want Ricky to just beast
Oh,
mode it. I just,
Yeah.
yeah.
you watch him play for New Zealand, bruh. He's going to get
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
He's going to make 18 runs and turn fucking centers into dust. Like, anyway.
A pumped Ricky on game day is just another. It's like a pumped Stags.
Yeah, goose bump me up, bruh. Like
Yeah,
Jordan,
that's it.
pretty Ricky destroying someone else's fucking half. Like fucking hook it to my veins.
All right. The next row we got all run meters, kick return meters, and dummy half runs. Came 17th in all runs. Dead last again, 4,115. Carrigan got 20th in the individual stats, so that leaning into what you were just talking about then, Ringer. He had 392, and no one else was in the top 50. So
Wow.
Yeah.
even Jensen, I was very surprised about that.
Yeah.
All run meters, we got 16th, crawled ourselves off the bottom there. 38,517. What if my little individual study here? Carrigan again, 3,745. Jensen was at 46th with 3,114. So
they're nearly 20% of our run meters between
Yeah,
those two blokes.
Yeah.
getting up there, yep. And then the kick return meters, so we were 12th, 3,697. No surprise, Oatsy was 15th. Jensen, 24. Obviously, those numbers are a bit muddled because we got kickoffs and whatnot like that.
Yeah,
Reese, though, only played the 13 games or whatever he played. He was up there. They made the top 50, so they were the only ones, sort of thing. So,
well, kick return meters being that low is not a surprise when Tristan Saylor dropped every second fucking ball that was kicked to him. So,
yeah.
well, I love the boy, but Jesus, that's going to knock your stats down a fair bit.
And I'm sure Langers will have something to say about this. We came 15th in dummy half runs at 151.
Ooh.
Now, this could be very double-edged for Langers here because he always gets up, Walters, when he does run. So, but
he runs at stupid times. That's what fucking
151 of them, but there's only fucking 110 that were fucking terrible ideas.
Not necessary, stupid.
Fourth tackle trying to take a run up the line with 14 props in front of you.
Oh, it's the fifth. I'm going to run it. Get rid of it. And then he ends up scoring anyway. It's like, oh, fuck's sake.
Langers is in the clubhouse when Madge comes in. Sack Billy! Sack Billy!
Get rid of him.
Get him off the field.
Yeah.
Righto, well, I'll throw to you, Langers, mate.
Yeah, again, these stats suck, eh? Like, all runs 17th, all run meters 16th, kick return meters 12th, dummy half runs 15th. Like,
Yep.
And like even with 15th for the dummy half runs at 151, we were making a joke about it, but like a lot of them was shit,
so
they
are.
Like
at the wrong time. Yeah.
Yep. It's just disappointing to see. Like kick return meters 12th. Like that's the highlight of that row, and you're 12th. It's
with the back three of Arthur's. Arthur's Cobbo, bloody Korapani, what's that other young fella, Mariner. It's not as if they're fucking all dead shits either. Corey Oates, Corey Oates led the way for our team, and he's retiring.
Yeah, exactly.
We know right. Corey's slow, but he'll pull the trigger and have a run.
That's it. Yeah, at least he'll have a run. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, no, it's rough. It's
rough. It's so many tints.
I'll add a little bit of salt to that wound anyway.
Please don't.
Our entire team had 151 dummy half runs. Harry Grant had 148. So
and 140 of them fucking perfect, necessary and needed at the right time.
Yeah, so she's pretty bad there. Billy Walters ended up 15th in individuals with 60 of them. So it wasn't even him that was doing most of the dummy half running.
I was going to say, that's a great stat that you just bring up, because if he done 60, that's not even a third, Nelly, of what's going on there. So off the bench, you've got Moser and Smoothie that are doing most of the dummy half running.
Or you're getting people that are quickly scooping it up.
Scooting in and taking it off. Exactly.
Keep going sort of thing.
And I understand when your run meters are second worst in the league, it doesn't create the opportunities for the halves to run. However, it's still, if it's all dummy half runs, that must mean scoots too. So that means that our backs aren't even coming in giving the boys a fucking blow. Val Holmes is one of the best in the comp. They can be doing nothing, and Val get in there and do some shit work, to try and get some meters. So, that's a bit disappointing if it's all dummy half runs. Is that it's all not even getting scoots out of our own end to try and help the boys out. So
get some meters, yeah.
Well, the next sort of bloke, I guess, was Smoothie on 40th, and he had 20. So that's the only two Broncos in the top 50 when it comes to dummy half. So the rest of it was pretty well spread out between the other players and whatnot.
Scooting,
Yeah. So,
But I mean, that's 100, 60 and 40. So for the rest of the year, we only had 50 scoots. Yeah, and Moser might have taken 10 of them when he started playing at the end of the year. So
yeah,
there's not many scoots there, is there? Like to try and bloody get us
no,
out of trouble.
no,
Like
that's
people
it.
coming in to do this shit work.
All right. Well, I'll just see if I can. So dummy half runs. The winners. So the winner of that stat was 310 by the Roosters.
Phew.
And no surprise there. The Storm were
Cheese
up
and
at
Connor Watson.
288. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you had the Storm, Raiders, Cowboys, Rabbits. So even the Rabbits got
Well,
up
over
there.
double. Fucking hell. Like,
Yeah. Over double. When Rabbits with bloody Cookie just getting
yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
And I guess, the teams below us were the Eagles and the Eels. So they don't really
Yep.
have established dummy half.
No.
Or they don't have
Well, they got
that
dummy
type.
halves, but they're not their type exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Especially with Manly, give the ball to Cherry Evans. Like, that's their
Yeah, exactly. That's
play
their game
every
plan.
single
Yeah.
play. Cherry touches the ball, and then so you don't really have the choice to scoot from dummy half.
Yeah. So anyway, not good. We'll keep pushing on. We got offloads, try assist, line break assist, and intercepts. So offloads, we came last with 159. Lo and behold, Carrigan was 22nd. He was the first Bronco. He had 29. And then Haas barely played any of the season. He was 38th overall with 23.
God, Jesus.
Yeah, so them boys there got close to the third of our total.
Yeah.
Try assists, we were last, but when you come 10th in tries and whatnot, then you kind of expect that. But we got 64. Ezra was surprisingly to me the top of the Broncos. He was 31st with 12, and that was actually an improvement from last year. So last year he got 40th with 9.
Wow.
Yeah, so bit of a. I'll let you marinate with that while I finish off the other two. But
Well, it's good that
interesting
Ezra's
thing.
got no controversy around him right now, so we can just move on with that stat and not talk about it again.
It was written before the weekend. Just so I didn't know he'd be moving house. So
To Bogger Road.
Line break assists, we were 15th, not last, but might as well 70. Reese still got 10th overall in the league with 17 line break assists. Last year he got first with 37.
Yeah.
So he's 20 off and played 10 less games.
Yeah.
So whatever. We should have won the comp. And we got 7th. We got in the top 8 with the intercepts on 13, of which Cobbo got 9th in the league with 3 of them. So yeah,
what do you reckon? Incredible, isn't it? Really.
What do you reckon of those couple of stats?
Yeah, mate. It's once again last, third last, and intercepts. Like, congratulations, they're stripping you of numbers, and you've luckily come up with bloody. You've shut down a couple of plays. It's not exactly solid reading, is it? But once again, mate, we'll move on from this, especially offloads with the team that we like. Obviously, the stat you said with Paddy and Payne pretty much give most of our offloads. Like whereas last year, I'm sure that second phase play was almost our given. Like, and it's such a huge stat these days. Is that defensive structures are so good. Those top teams' defensive structures are so good. The only way you can really get around that is either with speed. And when Rolsey doesn't play that many games, Ezra doesn't play that many games, we don't have that sort of in our duffel bag. And offloads with that second phase play against broken line. And if we're coming last, well, it's pretty simple to see what's going on there, isn't it?
Last year we came second in offloads with 292.
Yep, exactly. Wow, so, that's 140 more. That's incredible.
Yeah, nearly double the amount than this year.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Lakers, mate?
I think offloads 159, 17th, and the decoy runs, 16th and 964. Like I think that definitely talks, culture sort of situation with that. Like our offload's so low because there was no one to offload to. Like was there opportunity there to get the offload away, but no one was there, sort of thing. So they just had to take the tackle. Like I think. Yeah, these stats are shit, eh?
Yeah, that's so bad. That's
Like, 17th, 17th, 15th, and 7th for offloads, try assists, line break assists, and intercepts. Like, that's just, it's not good enough for a team like the Broncos. Like, let's call it how it is. Like, especially a team that we put on the park. Like, yes, injuries, 100% injuries, like going through these stats, I think it just really sort of cements that view that if you had our players playing, we would have been fine. We would have been fucking smashing teams, like, try assist and you get Reece, and he had his head taken off about 6 times this year. So, it would be very interesting to see how they would have conducted themselves if everybody was playing, minimal injuries, that sort of thing. Like whether there was still a shit culture and they still weren't going to make the 8, everybody playing, or if, we just had a really bad run with injuries and that is why everything just looks fucking terrible on this screen.
I'll throw in there. So support plays this year we got 14th, 1,075. The winner was the Panthers. They had 1,472. Now last year we came third. We had 1,255. Yeah, so it wasn't a massive increase, and obviously this year compared to last year, the numbers are about the same about where it is, but just that little drop off, just that second phase play, that that next person
support
supporting.
And we're covering probably old ground here, but support plays. When you think of the Broncos last year when we made our run, Curdy Capes was that sort of player, wasn't he? The support role, the bloke that was in the fucking dying minute, he was pushing up on the inside for he was in places that he had no right to be in. Yeah. Like whether that sort of culture, when he left, it could have been a hell of a lot bigger factor than we're actually putting in, and Herbie's another one. Herbie was always supporting. When there was a break made, he was there. So
he was there, yeah.
Mate, Ringer, it's almost like just a little bit of niche about footy, mate. Last year, Curdy Capel got second behind Dylan Edwards on 186 player in support.
Right here, bro.
Ride that dick, my boy.
I can't. He's my cousin. That'd be really awkward.
Legal out your way, isn't it?
Second cousin.
It's legal in Alabama. Right, we'll move on from that. So we start to push up into the top 8 here on a couple of stats now. We're getting real into the thick of it, thoroughbreds. Tackles, we got 9th because we never had the fucking ball. 8,242 tackles. Carrigan came 21st overall in the individuals with 832. Missed tackles now, 13th. 827. So I kind of look at that.
Terrible.
The fact, yes, we got 13. So technically we were in the top 8 for that. If you reverse the table around. Ezra, though, he got 8th in the individual stats with 93 missed tackles.
Oh, okay.
So now, before we all jump down Ezra's throat in a little bit for other reasons. Or his nose. Keep in mind, he's had over just 2 seasons in the top grade.
Yeah.
He's literally clocked just over 2 seasons of full-time footy. Last year, when he scored the hat-trick in the grand final, 12 months before that, he was playing Q Cup.
Exactly.
So it'll just,
I know. If we were recording this last weekend, mate, we'd be on Ezra's dick. Like,
Yeah.
And we still probably are, to be honest.
Yeah.
But like, you know,
wasn't my family in Uber, but
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. He is still a rookie, essentially. Like,
yeah,
and second year bloody syndrome happens to almost every good player. Nathan Cleary went through it. So, mitigating circumstances aside, I don't think we can blame Ezra for the fucking missed tackle drought. Like,
no.
and yeah, anyway.
Charge downs, we got 14th with 1, which is I see that as like especially these days with the kick pressure on, you can't charge downs really.
Yeah.
If you get 1, you got lucky. The kicker probably missed really.
Yeah, didn't kick your fucking legs and then get sent off. Yeah, exactly.
40-20, we got 8th with 2 of them. Once again, Renault didn't play majority of the season. That may have, we could have pumped them numbers up a little bit. But yeah, any comment, Langers, on the tackles and missed tackles there, mate?
No, like it's good to see that we're into single-digit territory. We've still got the THs on the end of the numbers, though, which is not good. But coming 8th in 40-20 kicks with 2.
Yeah.
I feel like 40-20s are underutilised in this fast game that we have now.
Yeah.
I feel like every team has that one bloke in their team that can do a 40-20 no dropless. Like maybe back in the day, I hate using that phrase. I'm way too young to be doing that. But, like when you're a kid, 40-20s were hard, like they had to...
Huge deal,
good amount of leg and boot behind that ball to make a 40-20. Whereas now it sort of seems like people are doing 40-20s without even trying to do those sort of distances. They're just kicking the ball sort of thing. So,
and it'd be interesting. Sorry, keep going.
You're right. You go.
No, sorry, because I think this is going to build onto your point. Is that it'd probably be a good stat for the NRL to do to say 40-20s attempted.
Yeah.
Like, are teams getting better at shutting it down, or are they just not doing it? Like, are they just not attempting to give the ball back centre field scrum? Like it'd be interesting to see that stat.
Yeah, if that stat was 2 out of 10 sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
But if it's 2 out of 3, 2 out of 2 sort of thing, and you're sort of out of a whole season, you only had 2 digs at it, sort of thing. But I mean, it's still not good enough. Like tackles, 9th, not good enough. Like it's the best stat. One of the best stats that we've got so far, and it's just not good enough.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just charge downs and charge down. Like you said, I don't think there's going to be too many charge downs. You touch that kicker and you're gone, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think charge downs are going to be just dwindled out of the game. Yeah, like you said, if a charge down happens, I think it's a missed kick and it actually kicks.
You've kicked it into someone.
Old mate doing the charge down is just as surprised that it paid off as everybody else.
Oh, fuck. Bro, I'm on it.
Was old mate for the Dolphins? He probably got counted one when he got that Falcon off Hunty.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it smoked him. Yeah, that's right.
But in saying that, though, I remember playing minors and first rugby league at high school, and we had one kid then who could punch a 40-20 out, no problems.
Was it Matt Burton?
No, it was Brendan. I forget what his last name was. Do you remember him? Jack Ringer. He could
Brendan Williams.
Yeah, he could smoke. No, Brendan is higher up in grades, not Brendan Williams. He could smoke a 40-20. I think we got the most 40-20s at Confro, and we were like in like C grade or something like that. So. But it's surely like
it is an odd thing. It is underutilized because there's a 20-40 rule still available, isn't it? Is that still a thing, or have they cut that out? Because
no.
It's so often you see teams that are getting fucking hammered in their own end. The defense is like compressed because they're going to fucking flog you for the next tackle, and you think, bro, why send your boy up to get fucking hammered? Have a crack at a 20-40. And what's the worst that can happen? You're going to end up there anyway in 2 tackles, and you're probably going to get fucking hammered in the meantime. Have a crack. I don't know. I've never seen anyone have a crack, and I can't believe why.
have a crack with the crackdown that they've got now with the kick pressure. Have a
Yeah.
smoke at a 20-40. If he kicks you, you get a penalty.
Exactly.
If you don't get the 40-20, it goes out dead. You have a scrum down there.
Yeah.
So you have a break in play.
You're so right about that too, is that the defence is already jacked to be fucking pinning in your own end. So you throw it to your fullback or your half that's got a decent boot on them. If the defence goes near them and touches their leg or fucking hits them, you get the penalty.
Yeah.
So it's like if you take it and go for the kick, they've got to go like, holy fuck, I've got to get back out of this.
Yep.
And like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Either it doesn't go out and you're down to their 30, or it goes out and you don't get the 20-40, you're on the halfway with a scrum. At least you get to fucking have a crack at having a breather, or you get the ball back. Like I've never seen a team do it, and I don't understand why.
Yeah,
especially like a playing team like the Bulldogs. Like imagine Burton second tackle on their 20. Goodbye. What's the worst thing that can happen? You're down on their try line.
Yeah.
We go down a rabbit hole then of contested scrums. If you force a scrum and you can contest, you get the ball back.
Test it, exactly, yeah.
Love it. Anyway, just a quick little stat there on missed tackles and tackles. So taking into account the number of ineffective tackles that we got, we still completed at 85% tackle efficiency. So, solid there. It's not a
only missing 15 out of 100. It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not shit. So then we go on the total kick meters, conversion, and the short dropout. So 13th in total kicks, 487. Kick meters was 9th, 14,348. We ended up first with a conversion rate of 86%.
The fuck did that happen?
Yeah! Go Broncos! Let's go, Sarah Press! Get around the boys! Kick our dicks off!
Fucking robbed.
Fucking
and then
robbed.
short dropouts, which was surprising because it seems like the only fucking thing we wanted to do. We ended up 13th with 14 of them.
And all 14 of them went over the fucking sideline.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what level of stat is that? Like, is that 14 times they did a short dropout, or is it 14 times it didn't go out? Because that's triggering.
Did we attempt 50?
Stat for me.
Did we attempt 50?
Yeah, exactly right. Fucking felt like it. Fuck me. Can we move on?
Yeah, we will. We got one
Hey,
more line
Langers,
here.
Matt said he wants Renault to do more short kickoffs next year.
Surely not. Surely they pulled him aside and gone, Adam, you want to see the footage, mate, or are we past this?
You rip the cord on the big fella and he starts fucking going. Let him go. Let the big dog eat.
Like an old listener diesel.
Yeah.
Righto, we'll move on to the last row here. Rip that Band-Aid off because this is where we went the best. Errors, we've nearly topped it out. we got a Erd there. We got third with 293.
Yeah.
It's not where you want the Erd.
Most errors.
Not where you want the Erds.
You want a TH there.
Cobbo came 15th with 31. And Reese came 18th with 28. I guess that's part and parcel, isn't it? That's why you have Cobbo and Reese there. You know they're going to do those stats. It's the upside that you have them there for. So ineffective tackles, we got 6th with 389. Penalties conceded. Suck on this, all the haters. We got 16th, nearly dead last. We got the least penalties conceded.
We've got to change our name.
Yes. No penalties for Broncos.
No penalty Broncos.
So Stags got 20th. He had 14. He conceded 14 penalties during the season. Handling errors, though, this is most likely the tail of the tape there for sure. Handling errors, we got third, 258. Now, first was the Cowboys with 273. They made the 8, and then we had Roosters in second with 263.
Yeah.
And they made the 8. So
that's crazy, eh?
Yeah. So I don't know. Make what you want out of those stats there.
Yeah, I think handling errors though sort of comes back to if we don't have Renault and Walshy, Payne doesn't make any errors, but I mean, when we have our full squad on the field, we do make errors because we're trying shit and we're like running plays and offloading and doing all that sort of shit because we're breaking tackles and we're in the backfield and, sometimes that goes to ground. But handling errors in the context of we didn't have those players on the field this year points to a lack of discipline, I believe, points to a lack of, realising the situation, playing the horses for courses sort of route was like, okay, well, we don't have these players here. We need to hold the ball, complete our sets, and see if we can grind out a win. And that thing, and I'm pretty sure, when we watched the games, that was pretty evident a lot of the time, is that there was fuck it footy played when there was absolutely zero time for fuck it footy to be played. So,
Yep.
that's what I'll put that down to, is that, a lot of these stats too is, I'd like to show them to Gordy and say, okay, Gordy, how's your old boy shit playing up? If you took Kevin Walters, I love Kevy. Kevy's one of my fucking heroes growing up. But if you take those stats and you put any other name against it, you tell me that Broncos, as the biggest club in the comp, would go, yeah, no, fine, we'll go again. No, you just wouldn't. You just wouldn't. So I'd love to hear what Laney thinks.
Yeah.
About his son.
Yeah. No, errors, third, 293. But I think the little stat there is Reece with 28 of those, and the lad played 4 games.
Yeah.
That's always been a drama with Reece. I mean, he gets his money because of the brilliance that he just produces out of nowhere. That first 6 meters that he just darts up to the line, that just shifts everybody sort of one off and then creates the offload. Blah blah blah. That's why we pay the money for the big fella. But his errors in his game, I think it's really going to stop him from going into that next level of talks of, good fullbacks, all-time sort of fullbacks, the Billy Slaters, the blah, 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 blah. I feel like if he can pick that sort of shit up, but what Ringer said, the errors are up there because they're a young team. They're just giving it a go. They're throwing it out, giving it a go. But when you are struggling to get a win,
Yeah.
you're struggling to get points on the board, maybe that isn't the play.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Reece with 28 of them, and playing half the season. Yeah, I think that is definitely something that he could probably himself work towards. And, if he tidies that shit up, mate, he would 100% be in the, he plays. You'd think Reece is going to be in the top grade for the next decade, you'd think.
Yeah, exactly.
Bar someone just fully taking his head off or something like that, you'd think he's going to be a first grader for a long time. The skill and blah, 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 the youth, all of that sort of stuff. So if he can tidy that up, there's no reason why someone with his sort of talent won't be into that conversation by the end of his sort of playing career, So, yeah, it's rough stats, but it is what it is. And I think it very much highlights how we went as a season. And, I think it really sort of solidifies the fact that, there probably is a bit of a culture problem in the thing. It's not just the media reporting it, there is actually something going on. You got your decoy runs, fuck all, your offloads, fuck all, there's something there where, the camaraderie isn't there, or just I'm too tired, I don't want to, run up for no reason and be a decoy, who knows?
Yeah. And we're all one-eyed fucking Broncos fans, and you're going to draw parallels from anywhere. But I mean, you look at the Rabbitohs team that Madge inherited. The bones of that team is very similar to what we have at the moment. Greg at fullback, not fulfilling his potential. Renault was the half, so that's a 1-and-1.
Yep.
Sato was a 5'8", so it's going to exactly. Sato was the lock. Sorry, Kiri was 5'8". You had game breakers in that team. They had Sam Burgess playing the Paddy Carrigan role, being the heart and soul of the middle. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost a fucking carbon copy of it's like, here's this team full of superstars that are underachieving. Go and beat them to death for fucking 2 years and see how you go. Like, they're going to get sick of you, but they're going to love that premiership ring on their finger. You know what I mean? Like it, and like Lang has said, 28 errors. I think with 14 games from Reece this year, it's 2 errors a game.
Yeah.
And there's probably some games in there where he made 1 or 0. So there's a few games where there's 3 or 4 errors. And that's what I'm talking about with the fuck it footy when we, sometimes they're playing fuck it footy when we, especially this year, could not afford to play fuck it footy. It was, make your tackles, complete your sets, and let's try and stay in this until the 75th and then do some, stupid bullshit with our freakish talent. Like, anyway.
Yep. I'll double down on my little stat there, or my thoughts during the season about how the Cowboys never win games; they only fucking lose them. The other team loses it. The Cowboys came second in errors with 296, and they came first in handling errors with 273. Don't fucking tell me that you put up them stats and still made the 8. Without some team giving you a win here and there. Fuck off. Fuck off, Gronk. All right, that's it for the stats. We're done. Fucking put that to bed. Shove it under the fucking carpet and leave it there. We'll move on to the players. So, a couple of interesting things here, and I think I can see a reason why Madge may be excited about taking on the role in the way that he got it. So, throughout the season, we used 28 players in total, and I will allude to the stat that the NRL physio put up. He had us sitting third with games missed due to injury with 138. Now, just before the potty kicked off, Langers hit me with an odd one about who was that, and we quickly went through. Renault played 13, so he missed 11. Haas played 14, missed 10. Walsh played 14, missed 10. So there's your 31 games there straight off the bat. 3 superstars of the team.
Of our team, yeah.
Of our team. Then when you couple it, we had 4 games missed due to suspension. Wasn't not that sort of bad. But then we had Origin piled on top of that as well.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't have been accounted for in the injuries and whatnot. But yeah, we sort of. It's a bit weird. The only players that we didn't use that are on our roster was Kobe Black, Deloise Hoyter, Israel Leota, who's a development player. We had Jordan Pereira. He retired midway through the season or some sort of like that. Va'u Semu. Now, he was named at 18th man, I'm pretty sure, a couple of times. Yeah, never made it. And I don't really know where he sits. I'm pretty sure I've seen that he is a development player, but I haven't been able to get it. And then there's Bailey True, who's a development player as well. So yeah, we had 34 people. We had to bring a few people in. Obviously, Josh Rogers had to be moved from development into full blown top 30 to get a game there. But here's the other interesting stat that we've got. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of those players can negotiate with other clubs or are only on development as of November 1st. So you have basically 1 year. If you want to stay at the Broncos, you've got 1 off season to impress Madge. Otherwise, you might as well start negotiating with other clubs. And I mean, 16. There may not be a whole lot of cap tied up in those people, but there's a bit of money there. So and like we'll get somebody else in who wants to be a development player. We'll get somebody else in who wants to be a super sub or a bench player or whatnot. So or a depth player. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything or how you want us to present this page to the thoroughbreds sort of thing. Like they can see what we're looking at, but.
Britto, I think with, I'll just run through like the 2025 players. Like, so they got 25 season with us.
Yep.
Fletcher Baker, Jack Gazowski, Jaden Hunt, Corey Jensen, Blake Moser, Adam Reynolds, Tyson Smoothie, Katoni Staggs, Reece Walsh, Xavier Willison. So that's who's contracted to us for next year.
Yep.
So a lot of that's maybe that's why the board moved so quickly on the Kevy out,
Yep.
Madge in. Like when you see that amount of players that only have next year, and there's a hell of a lot of players on there too that are 2026 that I didn't get to, is
Yep.
it's probably the more and more you look at it, it's more and more like a good decision. Like no matter what the result, as a business decision, it's probably the smartest way they could go about it. Is that not wait until middle of the year next year for a new coach to come in and say, "Oh fuck, I've only got 6 months with this player. How do I figure out whether I keep him or not?"
Yep.
Gets a full preseason, gets a full look at how he wants to coach them, how they want to be, like how he wants to utilize them in the roster, and if they don't fit his style, can start cutting fat early to work into the players he wants to keep. So, people are going to be coming hard at Xavier Willison. They're going to be coming at Blake Moser, even Corey Jensen. If he we'd be stupid to let him go. But clubs are going to be coming after these players. So, I think it's definitely a good thing that we've probably done what we've done so early. But like you said, with the injury total this year, maybe as a one-eyed Broncos fan, maybe it had a lot more of an effect on us than what we can actually put it down to. Too, with the amount of players that we had missing during the season.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Langus?
Yeah, no, I'm with Ringer with basically everything he just sort of said, and does the injury count then directly feed into the culture of the
Yep.
of the the club, the crew, like fuck, we've just lost our star playmaker, and oh fuck, now we've just lost our fullback, and we just now we're getting pumped by 30, and fuck, doing that extra 10% sort of thing. Maybe they sort of fed each other, which obviously is never going to end well for any sort of player or situation. But no, it's I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good with so many players, coming off of contract.
Yeah.
So, it's basically a bit of an open sort of slate. The way that sort of Madge or the media's been sort of reporting Madge, it's sort of everybody's going to get a shot. He would, it's sort of clean slate for everybody, and going to get everybody out on the park and grade everybody, and then go from there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, I think with a lot of fellas, sort of coming up to the time where like, oh, am I going to stay at the Broncos or am I going to go? Or I want to stay, so shit, am I going to get a spot? I think it might sort of work in our favour. I think. I also feel like we're putting a lot of eggs into Madge's basket too. But
We definitely are. But
I mean, I feel like you have to,
we do.
it's a big change. It's it's one of those things that's going to make or break a team. Obviously, changing coaches, and but like what you said, Ringer, you take the name Kevy Walters out of it, and you throw up his stats of the last couple of years. A team like the Broncos, the Storm, Panthers, your quintessential, top 6 teams, they aren't putting up with that shit.
Roosters are consistently making the 8, and Robbo's name still gets thrown up that he's about to get
Exactly.
sacked.
Yeah, exactly right. That bloke
He made the top 4 into a prelim. It's like, oh, fucking hell, he didn't win a comp. He might have to go. It's like,
that's it.
Yeah.
The bloke's been walking on eggshells for like a decade.
On your little thing there about the business move that the board made, Ringer, I think as well it might have gone the other way with the review that they did. They're like, shit, we could lose a lot of these players who can negotiate that we don't want to lose if we don't do something now. And that's probably why it happened so quick. Like, no, look, we're fixing the problem. Stick with us. Like, we'll get you through. Do an all season with Madge, and he's going to be he's going to be the coach that can develop you into the player that you want, sort of thing. If they really were disgruntled about Kevy and his coaching, that may have also lent heavily into their decision.
And also on top of that is that Madge is going to find the bottom end players that don't want to be there. Like, from all reports, everything you've ever heard of Madge is like, okay, so this is what we're going to do, and this is how, if you want to play for this club, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
So the ones that are like on the fence, and he starts like flogging them with a big stick, like is reported, like cunt, you're going to do fucking 6-week army camp or whatever he does.
Yeah.
Like the fringies not fringies, but like the players that haven't got it, that don't want to be for the club, are going to filter out pretty quick. So it's probably a pretty smart move. It's like, okay, these are the players that are going to leave. This is a salary cap space we need. Like, this is going to be a pretty quick way to weed out what we don't fucking want.
Yeah.
So, you know, and
Yeah,
oh,
100%.
Mads, you've got so much pressure on you from me.
But I mean, he took the same approach to New South Wales, didn't he? Clean slate.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Pick on form. If you want to be here, I'll let you have a shot.
We're not going to fucking Bondi. We're not going to Coogee anymore. We're going up in the mountains to fucking train in the bush. Like, get your shit together.
In saying that as well, I think Madge is smart enough to lean into the heritage of the Broncos.
Of course he is.
Like, he's not going to be
been at the Rabbitohs, mate. Like,
yeah, that's it.
He knows what a big club is.
That's it. He knows what culture's all about and how to get the best out of it. So, I'll run through, real quick with the outgoing players. We've got Deloise Hoyter. He's headed off. Where's he gone? I don't know where he's gone, actually. Corey Oates is retired. Jordan Pereira, he retired. Tristan Saylor's heading over to the English. Marty Tapau is still... I haven't seen anything about Marty, and I'm getting disappointed each day that it...
Yeah, I know. Re-sign him on minimum if he wants to stay. Like, Jesus, bro.
100%. He was
culture signing.
100% he was valuable. Worth every fucking penny this year.
Now, rumours are Selwyn Cobbo. I know the Cowboys came out and said, "Oh, he's not on our radar." Don't spit in my face.
Sure, Valentine homeless Cowboys.
But with anything that Ringer's found, it looks like the Sharkies are the number one, circling the blood in the water.
Well, he's the top of their list.
Yeah. So. Then we got Josiah Karapani. Apparently, he was headed off going to the Bulldogs, from what I see in the rumour.
Good signing for them if they did get in, because he is a tryer, that kid.
Yeah, I think that's all right. Corey Pakes, now, it was rumoured that he was headed towards the Raiders, but it's since come out that, Madge is sort of saying, no, you can play cuck chair one more year.
Poor old cuck chair Corey, Like, give the kid a game. He was so good, the poor bastard.
And then Kobe Hetherington was rumoured to be going to the Tigers, but thankfully it looks like Madge thinks highly of him and wants him on the run on. So anyway, we'll see how that all pans out in the off season. Incoming, we got a kid called Latrell Sigwald. He's on a train and trial this off season. He led the Walgett Aboriginal connection to the Corey knockout victory, playing halfback. But I believe he's a fully or something like that.
Well, do you know why he wasn't the fully in that Corey knockout game?
Who was the fullback?
Because Kennedy was the fullback from the Sharks. So
there you go.
Unlucky, bro.
But I mean, a ball-playing fullback.
Right. He looked very good.
It's a depth signing. Hopefully the kid goes well. I wonder what Q Cup. Do you know what Q Cup team he plays for, or if he does?
Yeah, I didn't see it. No, I think I think it's New South Wales comp for Corey. So,
yep. So rumours coming in. We got Tom Opacek coming from Leeds. Rumours are circulating.
Coming back.
Yeah, it would be. Wouldn't be a surprise if he does come back to the Broncos, considering that's who he left. Christian Welch was rumoured to come from the Storm. I think that's died in the water. I did see a little bit of Hayes Perham from the Dogs coming up. I wouldn't mind that. That wouldn't be a bad little signing.
Bit outside back.
Yeah, it'd be a depth. It'd be like a competition in the off season kind of signing, wouldn't it? And then Sam Walker, but I think since I wrote this, that's been sort of squashed. All right. So that's over. We'll have a bit of Gronk action.
Fuck yeah, bro.
As always. He hits it on the head, so I will share that bad boy and we'll have a look at what he's got to say.
Well, fuck, this will be a short episode. The 2024 review. How do you review a shit sandwich? Oh, jeez. I'd be lying if I said that it doesn't give me some joy knowing that you three bastards have got to relive how awful yous were this year. But I'm also very interested in seeing how you're going to spin it. Are you going to take ownership of how horrendous you are, or are we going to make a few excuses? So I'll be very interested in this episode. But I'm sure you will cover it. But one thing that worried me this year for you guys is that there wasn't many green shoots. You didn't unearth anyone. Usually it's a bit of a production line of talent where you go, well, fuck, he's going to be good next year. Another year, another pre-season under him. Some young kid, you know. Dean Mariner, maybe. But he's been around for a little while. Big X. Also, what if this fucking Ezra thing goes bad? And he's without a 5'8" next year? I think it... Well, here's what I think. Does it matter what I think? Probably not. But I'm going to fucking tell you anyway. You need Ben Hunt back. Fucking pronto. You can get your wish. You can kick fucking Billy to the curb. And just put Benny there. Slot him in at hooker. And if not that, he can come off the bench. Be cover for the tampon, fucking Adam Reynolds. You know, fuck, I think you need him. Old head, I reckon he'd fit in good. You can ease Moser into hooker then, I reckon. Just, I think it's a no-brainer. But you can't have no brains. So, anyway, I don't give a fuck what you do. Bye.
I mean, he's fucking right, is he?
He's right.
Yeah.
He's always right. Always right.
He's always right. It hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess the elephant in the room, lads, Ezra Mam. So I'll just do a quick recap. Now, Thoroughbreds, for the guys and gals that are following us now, we will never put out alleged, reportedly posts like most of the other pages do. We'll definitely read them. We'll definitely comment. But we're never going to release alleged, rumoured shit, basically. Unless I hear it directly from a player. Hopefully in the future we do have those kind of connections and whatnot. But, yeah, it's not going to come from us. So what we have pieced together is Ezra was moving house, if that's the rumours are led to be true on that department. Now, he is unlicensed at this moment. I think he might have had a bit of how you going the night before or whatever. He's driven the sponsored car, swerved into the incoming lane and hit an Uber head on. Had the Uber driver, obviously, but it had a mum and a daughter. Both suffered a few injuries, seatbelt burns. I think the daughter may have had a broken hip, but that's another rumour as well. And then he's completed the breathalyzer, but he's failed the drug test. So he went to hospital with, it would have been the whole, it would have been just protocol for him to go to hospital, get checked up, do all that sort of stuff, get his second test done. So they're awaiting the results on that. Obviously, Madge is in town today, or last week. No, today. Right. Today, he landed fully moved up with him and his family and whatnot. So he'll be getting right in the business for the November 1 start when all the lads can come back. So there'll be discussions around that. Now, as a podcast here, we hope that the Uber driver, the mum and the daughter are well. And all that. And then second to that, we hope Ezra is doing okay. So from what we've been told and what we've heard is that it's a little bit out of character for him. And whatnot. So yeah, I guess I'll say my piece at the end and whatever, but I'll get your initial thoughts, Ringer, mate. Which way do you think the club should go? What should they do? How should they handle it?
It's so hard to make a full decision when you only get drip fed what's happened. Like that little bit of footage that they did have is pretty harrowing. Like coming around the bend and then just drifting into the oncoming traffic. Like that's shocking. So there's sort of two trains of what I'm thinking is that if he was under the influence of drugs, he is unlicensed, and he injured people in a car, he should be counting his lucky stars he's not in fucking jail. Because if I did that, that's where I'd be, okay? The other side of it is that what what are the things that aren't salacious enough for the media to be telling us for us to not, like, why isn't he facing charges? You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, if there was, honestly, if you, I, or Langers did that, unlicensed, failed the drug test, hurt people in another car, you would be charged with something.
Yeah.
And why haven't we heard that from someone else? Like, why haven't we heard that from the police? Why haven't we heard that from anywhere, really? So, like, did something else happen that is not, you know, and that's what makes it so hard for me to really think of, like, what I should say, because we're obviously not getting 100% of the story. Like, we're getting the media story and the real story, and in the middle somewhere is the truth, you know, what they say. So, but as a club, it's something you can't stand for, I don't think, even even with what's happened, even with the information that we've got. Unlicensed in a sponsored car hitting another car alone is pretty fucking bad. The fact that the people are injured, even worse. The fact that he might be failing a drug test, and, you know, they say fail a drug test, that can be anything up to including endones and shit for helping with pain management. So we just got to put that out there, like, that it could be just medicated, sort of, you know, he might have fucking had an endone and fucking fell asleep. God only knows. But it's not a good look. And unless, and like you said, with Ezra being out of character, it definitely seems to be that's true. Like, he's never been in headlights before, even as a younger player. So, like, personally, I hope he's okay. I hope everything's fine. I hope mentally it's not something, you know, that's more to it that we're not knowing about. But as a club, I don't understand. Like, Madge coming in straight away is he's going to be his first thing off the rank. So you'd hope that he'd sit down with him and find out exactly what happened and make a decision off that. Because from the outside looking in, it's kick him to the curb, mate. I'm sorry, like, from it, like, for purely outside and just getting what you're getting drip fed, what they say are the facts. I'm sorry, you can't do that. I'm sorry, you just can't, because if it's all right, well, mate, you should be counting your lucky stars that someone is not dead and you're not in jail. So that's what I think. But there's so much middle ground that must be unearthed, because why isn't he not charged with something? Why is there not more of a police investigation through the whole thing? You know, like, that's the part that I'm missing out on. I'm hoping Madge comes in and sort of figures it out, and we get the real story. So they're not saying, oh, no, but we're just going to let Ezra go because, you know, we haven't got the salary cap space or some bullshit like that. I want to hear, no, he fucked up. This is what happened, and this is what's going to happen. Like, but that's my opinion, mate. It's hard because, like you said, you don't want to run off rumours. And, you know, at the moment, we haven't really seen, especially the toxicology. Like, if something comes back and he was fucking off his face on meth or bloody coke, well, sorry, bro, that's not good enough.
No, 100%. What about you, Langers, mate?
Yeah, I'm with Ringer. It's a bit of a weird one, like, especially with the charges. Like, yeah, you definitely think that there would have been charges laid by now. I certainly haven't heard of any charges getting laid. So, yeah, that is a bit of a weird one. You definitely think that, yeah, he would. But I don't know. You know, like, if you're going to up the drugs, which I feel like it probably wasn't endone or anything like that, because if it was pain medication from his ankle or whatever, you'd think the Broncos media team would be throwing that out instantly, going, hey, he's not doing drugs. He's on the endodone. It's all good, sort of thing. You'd think that would have just been splashed across everybody's, devices by now. So I think he actually probably, the fact that, just how everybody sort of reacted to it and the going to rehab and all that sort of stuff, then yeah, I probably think that he has upped the drugs, which it's so silly, in this day and age. He's on a mozza, so if he's moving house, fucking pay someone to move your fucking house, lad. Yeah. Like, if you're getting up the gear or whatever, you don't fucking drive.
Yeah.
You are a fucking celebrity now. You
Yeah.
can't fucking drive. Like, you're gonna get up the piss.
Ring one of the 400 people that would drive you.
That's it. Like, yeah, not only his sort of support network of friends,
Mm.
family that would be able to help him out, or even just fans like walking down the street that would give him a lift. But like, if he wasn't moving house and he's just going for a drive, like dumb as fuck, like with Ubers and shit like that these days, dumb as fuck. And if he was moving house, then he's just cheap as fuck, and he should have just got someone to move. But I don't know. Like, I feel like as much as the team is being built around Reece Walsh, I feel like Ezra Mam is sort of a pretty constant name getting thrown around in the Broncos' future. So I feel like they're sort of trying to put the team around him as well, sort of thing. Leading the halves and whatnot. So to kick him to the curb, like, yeah, that's probably going to be a pretty big reshuffle for the Broncos' future. But maybe the Broncos are down for that. With Madge coming in, maybe they are just down for just a proper big sort of shake up. Who knows? But probably the big thing that I didn't realise, because he looks older than he is, but he's only 21 years old.
Yeah.
Like he's been through a few dry gullies. The man looks late 20s, but like, yeah, he is just a kid. He's been thrust into the spotlight, and it's a big spotlight. You play for the Broncos, and you basically led your team to a grand final victory last year, bar some other brilliance from another player
Yeah.
of the opposite team. So yeah, like, it's disappointing. Obviously, I'm sure he's disappointed in his own actions and what sort of happened to from the fallout of all of this, but. Yeah, it's yeah. You'd think he's probably going to be gone. Like, I think this rehab thing is a bit of a save face for the public, and mate, you better fucking be decent when you come back out. Not rehabilitated, but you know what I mean. Like, you need to knock that sort of shit off. But like, looking obviously what other people have been commenting, and I've noticed that a lot of people are bringing up that awards night when he wore that stupid fucking suit. And I'm sort of that same opinion. Like, you have the mentality where you think that you can wear that sort of shit to an event like that, then yeah, maybe you do need some old heads around you, spitting proper common sense into you and not getting, maybe he's just surrounded by absolute dickheads as well, and he's just becoming a dickhead as well. So,
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? With a 21-year-old, heavily impressionable man, very popular, yeah, I don't know. It'd be very, very disappointing if this is his fall from grace. Hopefully, yeah, Madge, gives him another chance if he deserves it. I think that's probably going to be most people's sort of view and mentality on it. Like, give him another chance if he deserves it. If he does all the right things from now until round one next year, and he puts the effort in, and introduce drug tests. Bring him in. Fucking do piss tests if you need to. You are a Div 1 player now. Like, you step to a certain set of rules. There are, there's responsibilities that come with being a first grade player. Like, that's just how it is. Like, you are a role model now to the young kids. Like, you're not just a footy player anymore. Those days are done.
Yeah.
You're on the mega money, not just to play footy. So, and I think a bloke like Ezra Mam, he would have a pretty big following in the younger ages, the up and coming kids. So, you definitely don't want that age bracket that's, heavily impressionable to be like, oh, well, my hero is, doing coke and then driving around, so I'm going to do the same. So,
And I'm with you 100% with all of that. Is that if he deserves a second chance, like you said, he's 21. If you haven't been a dickhead at 21 and done something stupid,
exactly right.
like, you probably haven't lived. But like you said, also he is a role model. So even if Madge says, okay, you can see the remorse, he can see that he's a changed man. Like, this is something that's woken him up and gone, fuck, I can't do this anymore. I would still like to see the Broncos themselves say you can't play until round 7 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
Like,
like to
I don't
see him
care
get
how
by.
much you fucking put a preseason in. I don't care if you're the best player in our club.
Yeah,
You're not. You don't get that privilege until you fucking show us that you're going to do that for 5 or 6, 7 rounds or something. Like,
yeah.
yeah, like a club ban just to set some standards or something.
Yeah, that's it. Like I think Madge coming in, like probably terrible timing for Mam because I think he'll be an example that Madge will
Mm.
set. And I think if he's too lenient on him, then
Yeah,
it's like, well, if you did it for Mam, you can do it for me, sort of thing. So, I think he is probably going to have to be pretty hard on him, and it probably would be a pretty good wake up call. Be like, no, you can fuck off to the Logan Magpies for a few games, mate. I'll see you in a month
mm.
or whatever. Like re-humble yourself and earn your spot back, sort of thing.
Yep.
But we don't know. I think there's still not enough answers to questions at this stage. I think it could have just been something like he could have had his drink spiked. He might not even known that he had failed a drug test. Like
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
surround yourself with dickheads like that. How do you know that your drink, didn't get spiked?
Mm.
You just got blind the night and you're going, oh man, I'm way hammered here, sort of thing. Like who knows? He could just be sitting in the rehab right now, just like,
Yeah,
how the fuck has my, Christmas
yeah,
ended up like this, sort of thing.
yeah.
Yep.
So who knows? Hopefully he's doing good. Like mentally. Hopefully, he's not beating himself up too much about it. Like there were injuries in the car, but. I mean, they were both on the news, and I feel like they were both milking it pretty fucking heavily. I think
No, don't
visions and
allegate.
whatnot.
That's
Yeah,
a terrible
exactly.
allegation to make against people that might try to make a fuck ton of money out of someone.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I feel,
What do you reckon, Britto?
yeah,
There's too many blurred lines,
yeah.
pun intended. Like, so, okay, I'll straight off the bat, if he's unlicensed, so he knew that he was unlicensed, it's a sponsor given car, that alone
But do
right
all
there.
sorry, just real quick, do all the players get a sponsored car? Like,
Oh,
surely,
Most of them
I-
you
don't
play
100%
first
would.
grade, like you're a major
Yeah.
sponsor of the team. Like, surely everybody's got
I think that's where the little
well,
third party deals and all that
yeah,
come in
that's
there.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so you're fucked up, right? Now, if you were out the night before on purpose, doing some fucking drugs and whatnot, my stance is the exact same as I would expect for any other club in the NRL, and I would like the NRL to do this more often, is your contract is torn up, you have to go to XYZ, community staff, rehab, all this sort of shit, and you cannot have another contract registered with the NRL until you have done that and you have served a year out of the game or 2 years out of the game. Hey, what happened to Cherry Bronson?
Yeah.
He did some
was doing
supplements.
steroids. He was doing steroids.
Yeah, I know. But hey, that's fucking see you go.
Wait, what do you get? 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
And if Ezra did that, potentially nearly killed some people, I'm going to say that that's worse than doing steroids.
Yeah.
I don't think Uncle Joey would bloody agree with you, mate.
So that's my stance on that. Like, if he did fuck up, then because then everyone's like, oh well, if we sack him, then somebody else will just pick him up. It's like, no, well, he can't. No one can. And that shows the young fellas coming through, like, hey, here's all this money. If you fuck up, it's gone. And if then, you've got it, there's a long road to get back. And, you could look at Bronson as an example. He fucked up and he knew it and he worked hard. He wasn't even allowed to play park footy, Bronson.
Which is ridiculous, yeah.
So, like, to be that dedicated to the cause to get back into first grade and then come back and kill it like he did, and hats off to him. He had that wake up moment sort of thing, like, I shouldn't be hanging out with these people. Cool. Now, like, it's an interesting point you brought up, Langers. If he got spiked or, if it's the ankle and the endone, I think that's maybe why we haven't heard such a massive uproar about charges, is that they are waiting for that results to come back. And the rehab thing is like the Broncos going, bro, you've got 4 weeks till we get back into it. How about you just go and do a fucking course?
Yeah,
sort
save
of
face
thing.
in the community, get yourself fucking sorted out.
That's
get
it.
away from the media too.
Yep.
That's obviously going to be a good thing for him to not.
So do that. Go and do. That sounds like what's good. Now, if it does come out and the Broncos sack him, then that's it, done. Sure, we'll move on and all that. If they do keep him, I agree with the month off, whatever, at the start of next season, but it's got to be Like he just signed that extension, that contract extension for quite a bit of money. I think it was like $4 million over 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous, yeah.
They're going to be like, Ezra, it's performance based. Sort of like there'll be some legalities involved because they have, they have definitely got grounds to sack him and not pay him any of that money. Whether
Bro,
he goes to
I
another
would
club
I
or
would
whatever.
cut it to a 12-month. It's a year-on-year contract in the club's favour from now on.
Yeah.
Where if you don't fucking perform, we'll fuck you off.
Yeah.
Is that an option for the Broncos? Like tear up the contract that they agreed to because of those clauses, and then go, here is another contract, like
Year on year,
performance-based,
Yeah.
12 months sort of thing.
Can
They do that legally?
Reckon, legally, sure, mate. If you went out and illegally drove, you illegally did a few other things and you hurt some people, that's not in your contract. That would be a very specific clause in your contract that you can't do that.
Yeah,
you know, if you bring the game into disrepute, you bring this club down, you bring the reputation of it down, then we can sack you, sort of thing. They can definitely do that. So I would be, if Madge comes in, looks at it, takes one look, Ezra's hanging out with bad people, blah blah blah. This, all right, you can stay if you're remorseful, if you're doing all this sort of stuff. This is how it's going to be, though. And if you don't like it, well, then you can leave. And we'll deal with you playing against us for another club who does want to pick you up or whatever. That depending on if the NRL doesn't bring in their own punishment for him, sort of thing. He needs to have a big season next year.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing I think we all need to come back to too is the thing on his no longer fucking suitable driver's license is the date of birth.
Yeah,
he is 21. Like, apart from you, Britto, everyone else has done fucking stupid shit at 21. Like, you're the most
clean
together
here,
person
what are you
I've
talking
ever
about?
fucking. But
just remember, Langer's seen me at 21.
Yeah. I know you had long hair then. It was ridiculous. But we think, and it is true and whatnot. But we seem to be putting hanging around bad people. Done something wrong, bad person. Where 21 years old, mate, he could be a fucking legend. And you see a fair bit of that with the stuff he does in the community, especially in the Torres Strait Islander Aboriginal community and stuff like that. He does a lot of good stuff in that. A 21-year-old can be an idiot for fucking 48 hours. And sometimes that shouldn't fuck your life up. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have fucking terrible consequences. But that's what I mean about if he's remorseful, if this is a thing, if he comes back and he's like, bro, I will never fucking even get in a car again, blah, 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 whatever it comes to. And the club puts a harsh enough penalty on him, like you said, go back to the contract. And if he comes back like that, I think you've got to sort of say, you've got to give him a chance because we've all been 21 and we've all done stupid shit. And you just hope that doesn't fuck the rest of your life up. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, but like you said, it's the toxicology stuff. He knew he didn't have a license, and if he was high as a fucking kite, well, sometimes stupidity is not a good enough fucking, good enough plea. So,
probably another factor that I think probably should come into it is how did he lose his license in the first place?
Yeah, I haven't heard that part yet.
Is it like, he hasn't paid parking fines and they've, canceled his license, or is he just...
Did he just let it expire or some stupid shit?
Something like that. Or has he, failed for a roadside drug test that the Broncos have slipped under the rug, or
speeding tickets, I guess.
Or what sort of driving behaviour does he have to lose a license at 21 years old? So that's probably going to come into it as well. So I think there's a lot of factors with this, and I think it's just going to slowly unfold. But I think the Broncos will probably be doing a pretty good job of trying to sweep this under the rug and keep it quiet until the next NRL player fucks up, and then the media can light him up and sort of leave Ezra alone. So
I think
because that's the odd thing about the footage. It's like slow motion. It's like. That's what makes you lean more towards the Valium / Endone / something like that, where
Yeah.
you go, because it wasn't as if it was like a drunken, speeding, spinning out of control fucking accident. It was like slowly drifting across the fucking lines and then
Yeah.
gently nudging the car. Like, it was
Yeah.
like, fucking hell, bro. You could have made it look better for the camera, but you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a. That's what it sort of throws another variable into the whole situation where you're like, he didn't lose control. He wasn't skidding around a corner and fucking dipped the white lines. Like, he just, like, like it was like a fucking 75-year-old lady's, like, fucking lost a handbag or something and just fucking drifted across the lines, wasn't it? Like, it was so benign. So it's
Yeah.
going to be,
Well, that was
you would just love to know the truth. That
Yeah.
would be the best ever.
that was one of the rumors. Like early days, was that like he dropped his phone while he was driving, and then he went down to reach to grab it, and then that's what happened. But I think that got squashed because they were
They're like, oh, bro, don't touch your phone.
You're on your phone, lad. Like, let's just not
back
say
that
that
one up a
anymore.
I think we are watching. I think we are looking at how good our PR team at the Broncos are too.
Yeah.
They did the Kevy thing with Madge swap just before the grand final. That was all pretty well done. There was another issue, I forget what it was during the year, but I think they're doing a really good job at just like, don't fucking release anything, nothing gets out, all that, which shows really good that part of the like, because the players are going to talk, they're going to know, you know, so getting that out on a podcast, if they might go on one or slip of the tongue to a reporter or something like that, and they run with it, and where there's smoke, there's fire. The fact that it's like the crash happened. Silence.
And you haven't heard a fucking word about it.
Silence.
Yep.
Dave Donahue came out. He's done all the right things. He's talked to the mum and the little girl that were involved in the crash. He said on the news report that he sounded nice. He's talked to reporters when he's had, he's set it. He hasn't, there's pressure to do a media release. No. I'm going to go on this radio station. I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to say these things. Ezra's going to go over the rehab. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Madge is going to come in. We'll have a chat about it. We'll get the toxology. We'll make our mind up. You'll know when we know, sort of shit like that. Not we'll tell you just for the sake of telling you, sort of thing. So, shit situation. I'd rather it not happen. But anyway, Ben Hunt, welcome. So
Wow,
bro.
Wow.
If that happens, like, you welcome him back, and they keep saying, "Oh yeah, but then you'll have two halves." I don't give two flying fucks. Can you imagine a team with Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds running left side, right side? Even if Ezra whatever is still around, but if he's not, who cares? Like, you got so many weapons on either side of that field that could. Two old heads can drive that team. Like, I don't just hook it to my veins. I don't even fuck where they play.
2 kicking games.
2 kicking games.
Yeah. So, and then like you got sneaky little Moses sneaking around at dummy half there.
And Benny's sort of, I think he's a year or two younger than Renault. So if you had them together, Renault leaves, Benny's got a couple of years. You got Kobe Black coming in. Yeah. It's like, it's fuck me, bro. Anyway,
Renault goes under the coaching staff, and the rest is history.
It won't happen. There's not a fucking hope in hell it will happen, but it's nice to think about. It is rugby league.
All right. Well, I think we've kicked that horse down the road a fair bit, so we'll wrap it up there. Thanks a lot, Thoroughbreds, for listening along. Join us next week for the NRLW season. Better stats, less controversy. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, Julia doesn't go out and do something stupid this weekend or something like that. But no, head over to our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Slide into our DMs. Give us a like, follow, share, comment, all that sort of good stuff. Bet responsibly. Be a contributor to society. Stay out of one another unless it's consensual. And we will gallop off into that sunset. See you later.
Cheers.
Good on you, Thoroughbreds.